Hey, it's Brock here from Rock Hill Farms, and today we're going to test out this Champion 12,000 pound winch and see what it can do. I'm pretty excited to get this, but a lot of you watching, if you've been following the channel, are probably wondering why I got a Champion winch, considering that last fall I bought this Warn winch. And first I want to say it's nothing negative towards the Warn brand or the quality of their products, but there are a couple reasons that I felt I needed this. Number one, I made a mistake that I think a lot of people make, or I know I've made before on buying equipment, and I underestimated how big of a unit I need. A lot of people have that problem with the tractor and buy what they think they need and realize they would have really benefited from the next size up. And that's the case here. This is an 8,000 pound winch, and the rating on any winch is under ideal scenarios. There's variables like the friction of what you're pulling. Is it two flat surfaces and you're sliding something? Does it have wheels? Are the wheels spinning freely? Are you stuck in the mud? There's all these variables, but this is a 6,000 pound tractor, and my main purpose, the thing I think I use it the most often for, is on the back of the tractor to pull a log or something like that. And this winch will pull just a little bit harder than the tractor, but not much. For the most part, if I can't pull it with the tractor, I also can't pull it with this winch. And that's nobody's fault but my own. But that left me wanting a bigger winch. The second factor is, I think I would like to have two winches, because this one is set up as a receiver mount winch. So it's got the square tube on the back. I can put it into anything that has a receiver. Obviously the back of the truck has a receiver. The front of the tractor can have a receiver. I've got a couple different ways to do that. The back of the tractor has a receiver, so I can mount this anywhere. I've got a receiver set up on the trailer right here that is wired into a solar charger and a battery, so that I've always got the option to run the winch on here. And that's a pretty good setup. But I actually think I want to permanently mount a winch to the front of the truck, because in a recovery situation, that may be the best option. And if I need to pull from the front, I can't use this receiver mounted winch, obviously, unless I added a receiver to the front of the truck. So that's how I ended up wanting a second winch. Now, the question is, why did I get a Champion winch? And the answer is, I'm a brand loyal person. For whether that's good or not, if I buy something from your company and it lasts for years and I never have any problems with it, I'm probably just going to continue buying from you. And I've owned a Champion generator and a Champion log splitter for quite some time. I've done reviews on those. I leave them set out in the weather where they shouldn't be. Don't do any maintenance on them. And I can come back a year later and starts on the first pull most of the time. And I demonstrated that recently in the generator video, and first pull. So I have a fondness for the Champion brand because of that. But Warn has a great reputation as being kind of the premium winch on the market. So I started my search by looking at Warn. I actually didn't know Champion made a winch, but I started looking at the Warn winches, and this winch right here was like $800, maybe $700, somewhere in that range. But I also had to buy the mounting bracket and the electrical cables, and I spent another $200 on the setup after buying the winch. So then I start looking at 12,000 pound Warn winches, and their premium one is like $2,000, and that's just too much. If that's the best deal I can get, I just probably wouldn't have got another winch. Then I started looking at their cheaper line. They have a higher grade and a lower grade, and that was around a $950 winch, and I would have still had to buy the bracket and the cable, and I'd be looking at $1,100, somewhere in that range, and that's still pretty pricey. So I started looking at other options. Harbor Freight sells winches. I just started doing Google searches, looking at reviews, and looking for value. Sometimes you get what you pay for, and you definitely don't necessarily always want to buy the cheapest product on the market because it may not have the quality. But another factor is you don't want to pay just for a name either. So it's always a tough decision where you want to jump in the price levels and jump in the market. So I found a lot of cheaper options. I think you can get a 12,000 pound winch as cheap as $4,000, but I've never heard of the company. So that's kind of ruled out to me. A lot of people like the Badlands winches from Harbor Freight, and I found that to be a comparable price range to the Champion winches. But with Champion, you get everything you could need to go along with it. And I've had so much good luck with the Champion brand, that's why I went this direction. So, this winch was $600. With that, you get a cover for it, which no one else offers. It has the synthetic rope instead of the steel, which I got the steel on this one to save money. Obviously comes with the front guide bracket. I think it's a fair lead is what they call that. Then it comes with this mounting bracket. It comes with your controller, obviously. It comes with a snatch block, which is really nice. And it comes with these quick connect cables. So this was half price of this unit. And that was a winning combination to me. So I guess I've talked enough. Let's get this set up and try to do some of the same tasks that I've already done with the other winch and see how it compares. As I open this up, I have the camera running and I was gonna film it, but you know, as I think about it, unboxing videos feel kind of like a waste of the viewer's time. So unless there's something out of the ordinary here, I'm gonna skip ahead to actually having this set up. So to recap the unboxing, I took it out of the box and then I put the box over there. Hope you didn't miss too much. As far as setting it up, it looks exactly like the setup for the Warren winch was. It's got the same mounting pattern on the bottom. This bolts on to the front of the receiver mount. Cable plugs in the same way. Everything looks about the same, really. The one thing I noticed that stands out is I was talking about the cost of buying the extra accessories, and these cables right here that I bought for the other one, I think they might have been a little bit longer than the ones the Champion supplied, but those were $150 cables. So I actually spent more on accessories than I thought. And these actually have a protective cover around the wires, and the ones I bought on Amazon didn't have that. So it looks like I just put in 6 bolts to put this together. Let's get that done real quick. Assembly was really straightforward. 2 bolts here, 4 bolts in this, 4 bolts up through the bottom. Really pretty self-explanatory. I didn't even need to read the instructions, but I did read the entire manual just to make sure I wasn't missing anything important. Putting them together, having just done this one, very similar. Everything about the design is about the same. This one has a different lead on the front. I think they call this a hawse, whatever it's called. I think the different style is mainly because this is a synthetic rope and this is a cable. Just little things. This handle you lift and turn to make it free spool. This one just turns. This one came with the cable. This one I had to install my own on the back. So very similar design. I've got a separate video showing how I set this winch mount up. It's really pretty simple, and there's probably better ways to do it, but I did this very low cost with just a marine battery, and I used a solar charger from Harbor Freight. Didn't spend any more than I had to on it, and it's been working well. As I have all these conversations about the cost of this winch and the cost of that winch, another factor is how often do you use it? If I earned my living just loading cars all day long, if I was a recovery business, I might buy the most expensive winch I can find. I mean, you still want to be smart, but price is not as big a concern there. I might use this once a month, or I might go 6 months without using it. It all just depends on what's going on. But I don't need a professional setup. If I was using it all the time, I don't know which winch I would buy, but I know for certain I would have a better power source set up. Okay, so that's all there is to it. I put the pin in, we're plugged in. I'll unspool some line and just test it with no weight real quick. Seems like it's got a little bit more coast than I was expecting, but that's something I'd get used to pretty quick. When I bought my other winch, I also ordered some snatch blocks, and I've done a video where I use those to multiply the mechanical advantage and pull something heavier than the winch could pull by itself. But this came with a snatch block, and this is kind of a nice feature that this one is greasable, where the other ones I bought were not. It also seems to be a little bit more heavy duty. And I was gonna use this, but then actually I think the easiest thing for hooking to the tractor would be this tow strap. This is rated for way more than this winch can put out as far as force. So I'm gonna loop this around the axle on both sides and pull it out towards the middle and hook directly to these two loops. And I think that'll be a secure way to do it. The last thing we have here is a cover, which I would say is just a nice little touch. Looks like it's not designed to go over this receiver mount. It goes over the winch only, which is perfectly fine. And it's really easy to get on there. It's got a drawstring on this side. I don't think I would leave this on if I was driving down the road. I think the wind would pull it off, but if you've got this parked and you're just storing it, then that cover is a nice little feature. I was trying to think of a scenario where I could really push this thing to failure. And I don't really have anything heavier than the tractor, and I don't want to tear something up just for the sake of doing it. I think that was a pretty good initial test. At the very beginning of the video, you might have noticed something up in the corner that says sponsored video. That does not mean I'm being paid to give a positive review. Like I've talked about before, I have specific criteria I use to decide if I'm willing to review a product. One of those is they can't tell me what to say. Another one is it has to be something I was already going to buy. I really looked at all the different winch brands, I compared them, and I decided I wanted the Champion winch. So I sent Champion an email. I said, I bought this and this from you, and I've made these videos, and I sent them all the videos I've made. And honestly, I was hoping for a discount. What they actually did was offered me a winch and a second product that I'll show in another video. So I was really excited about that. I'm glad to represent their product, but also you're gonna see me use this in multiple videos. I'm gonna try to pull logs with it. I might be pulling on a stump. I might be trying to get a truck that's stuck and pull it out. You'll see me using this winch again, and if it fails, if it doesn't work, if something breaks, if there's a problem with it, you're gonna see a video called I had a problem with my Champion winch, because I'm not just showing you positives, and today I'm showing you initial quality. Initial quality, setup, design, looks great. We'll see long term how it holds up. Check in the description of the video. If you're watching this 3 months, 6 months, a year from now, check in the description, because if I have a problem or if I do a 1-year review or an update, I will put a link to that in the description. You'll also see a link to buy the product from Amazon in the description. So I appreciate you taking time to watch the video. I'm going to put links over here to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.